SWAC Football on ESPN Plus. Presented tonight by Alabama State and their rivals from Bethune-Cookman. Now Alabama State comes in with a 1-1 record. Bethune-Cookman is 0-3 as they come in tonight. But it's a SWAC game, so both teams will let it all hang out tonight. Hello, everyone. I'm Butch Alcindor, along with college football analyst Jorge Vargas. And as we talk about this one, it is a SWAC game, so you know what? Both teams will bring a lot of energy.
It's where things really get heated up. Now, Bethune-Cookman, of course, just came into the SWAC. They were welcomed by that other Alabama team, right? Now they want to get it right. They felt like they let one get away, and tonight they'll have extra effort to make sure they can get their first win in the SWAC.
Very good point. Bethune-Cookman comes in. They were already 0-1 in SWAC play, so they do not want to let this one get away. And one of the keys to winning tonight is how well their quarterback, Shannon Patrick, will play. He's a transfer from Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yeah, Shannon Patrick, I mean, he's a guy the whole team believes in. And really what is his attitude and his presence amongst this team. Coach said he's just kind of cool, and he's just got this mature for him to just lead this team, be solid, and just keep drives alive and make no mistakes.
And one of the things he does extremely well is manage the ball game. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
So and that's what you want out of your quarterback.
No
you can't turn that ball over.
On the other side, Alabama State will come back with a freshman. He is Ryan Nettles. He made his debut in the starting lineup during the spring season, and he was very impressive for the Hornets.
He's electric, right? He's a guy that you feel like when you see him on the field, that something big can happen anytime. And again, he's young, so he may be making those mistakes. He's going to have to try to keep himself in check, but he's a guy that's electric. Looking forward to see what he brings.
The Wildcats, we will find out. SWAC football action, conference action, coming up here on ESPN Plus. Of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Welcome to ASU Stadium, everyone. We were here for the big game tonight between Alabama State and Bethune-Cookman. As you take a look at Bethune-Cookman head coach Terry Sims, he has 6 years. Very familiar with the SWAC because he actually coached at Prairie View A&M and at Texas Southern before going on to Bethune-Cookman. So he's not a stranger to the SWAC. On the other side, we have Donald Hill Ely. He comes in with a 1-1 record. He's 18-18 overall in his 5 seasons at Alabama State. And you know what? He's a blues fan. So when he kind of gets back and gets ready to chill, he likes to put on a little blues and then have a good time with it. And that's how he rolls. And we are rolling now in Montgomery, Alabama, and the opening kickoff goes out of bounds. So Alabama State will start with the on the field. It will be our first look at the freshman quarterback, Ryan Nettles, 6'4", 200 pounds. He's a redshirt freshman from Evergreen, Alabama. He actually won a state championship his junior year in high school. After that.
Yeah, and I think we saw one of his first starts in the spring, when he finally got back on the field. And it was funny, the first 2 series he had was a turnover and a fumble, I believe, and then he came back and really started playing something else. So it'll be interesting to see how his rhythm gets going and how much his confidence gets going really throughout this game.
Nettles puts a man in motion. Going to be an incompleted pass. Really good defense there. Play it's Devontre Hampton.
It means what we've been coaching you all week. You've listened to, you've watched your film, you saw your reads, and you made a break on the ball. They'd love to see that.
First conference game for Alabama State here. They are 1-1 on the season. sideline over there.
Yeah, it's an option play, right? But what's interesting in that, your option pitch is usually a flick of the wrist. And watch this, he kind of shovels the ball. So he runs the option, but instead he kind of does the real kind of a pitch. It was a little bit interesting, but hey, they got 3-4 yards out of that.
Big third down coming up for the Hornets now. 3rd down and 6 to keep this drive alive as Alabama State takes on Bethune-Cookman here in Montgomery, Alabama. Nettles in the pocket, fires near the sidelines. It is complete to Hickson. Jeremiah Hickson, he was their leading receiver last week, and he's picking up right where he left off.
Yeah, watch Nettles if we get a replay here. Watch how he holds the ball nice and high, elbows high. Watch right before he throws it. He keeps his arm nice and high, and that's good because you don't want people knocking the ball down, and you want to keep.
First and 10 for Nettles. Looking down the sideline again, and it was right there. Who was right there on the hash mark, and he appeared to be open.
Yeah, it looked like Tevin was ready to receive that on the inside shoulder. It went a little bit, sailed a little bit to his right outside shoulder. But you talk about great protection here. He had the time and just threw it to the outside.
Too high on the throw. 2nd down and 10 now for the Hornets. Ja'Cory Merritt in the backfield. He started last week against Auburn. He's in the starting lineup again. This time the handoff goes to Merritt, tries to pick his way inside, and he's going to be taken down after a short gain.
Yeah, a little bit of a counter play there. They're trying to confuse the defense, but the defense held their discipline, held their gaps, and that ball went nowhere. Watch, they had two guys going 2 different directions. The back doesn't know really where to go, and the defense, because they gave him nowhere to go. That's why he kind of shuttled his feet there in the backfield.
Malik Franklin on the stop for the Wildcats. That will push the Hornets into another 3rd down situation. 3rd down and 8 yards to go to keep the drive alive. Ryan Nettles. Nettles scrambling out of the pocket, trying to get to the sticks, and he does. He has more. Nettles down the sidelines, and he steps out of bounds after picking up a huge 1st down for the Hornets.
It's funny. It didn't look like he wanted to run or was going to run there for a little bit. Watch here. He's like, no, I'm going to throw this ball. And even right here where there's room, and then he just decides to go. Now watch this block. Can't catch the number right there. He just kind of put his back.
How much he could get on the play. So Hornets on the move. Another 1st down, ball resting at about the 25-yard line. Nettles to pass again. And Jeremiah Hickson, number 1 over the middle.
Looks like that thing was gobbled up at the defense. He's giving a little high five there. Watch right there, that ball. Oh, 94, big number 94, puts his paw on it.
94, Jaden Loving. Boy, he had a lot of loving on that play, wasn't it? Jaden getting those big hands up there and knocked that ball down, and his defensive coordinator loved it, I'll tell you that. So it brings up 2nd down and 10 to go for Ryan Nettles. He puts Ja'Cory Merritt in motion. Nettles with an empty backfield. Fires near the up a nice little short gain.
Motion does. It really helps you figure out if you're a man-on-man, what kind of zone you're running, because the defenders have to adjust every time you move your motion man. And so that's happening.
For Alabama State, it's the third down on the drive, and Nettles is converted on the other 2. This time he fires the hook pattern. He has his man. It's a completed pass, and I think it was Tevin Sharp again holding in the pass and picking up another 1st down for the Hornets.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was
game with the hot hand with his passing. He's doing a good job of firing the ball.
What I like, he's looking left the entire time. At the very last moment, he looks to the right and then just fires it in. Once he makes a decision, he gets rid of the ball fast.
2 catches already in this ball game for Tevin Sharp, number 82. And you can see the Hornets now with the football resting at about the 50. Into the end zone, and it's too high. He threw it in the direction of Diop, but that pass had no chance.
Yeah, I think when they watch this play, when they go back and look at the tape, that it was man on man. They were clearing out that whole right side. He had at least 15 yards ahead of him. But again, I love when a quarterback's looking to throw first, run second, because ultimately that's where you're going to get your success, right? But right there really wasn't a lot open. He tried to make something happen downfield. He had 10, 15 yards on the right side. Again, there you look at motion again.
Nettles with only one TD pass on the season so far this time. Hands inside to Ja'Cory Merritt, and he has that quick first step, and he burst into the secondary there for a gain of about 8 yards on the play. And he's starting tonight, and maybe he's starting because he does have that quicker first step.
Well, I'll tell you what was nice to see. That was the earlier play they ran earlier, the kind of a counter play. You have a guy in motion going one way, and your back comes the other. But it's funny, he cuts right back in that other direction, and he created some room for himself.
Ja'Cory Merritt, 5'11", 189-pound freshman, also from Montgomery, Alabama. So this is a home game for him, and we have whistles on the field. A flag is down that will stop.
We can't hear him, but I was going to say the beauty of what this drive is doing is that they're really, it's very executed really well, and it's very clean. And then you have a penalty like that, and you got coaches wanting to throw headsets all over the place.
That was referee Tony Ross giving us the call there, and that's one that they don't like, because everything on this drive has gone so smoothly so far, and that's going to be
to accomplish through.
End zone, and it's a touchdown for the Hornets. A beautiful pass from Nettles, and he fires it in for a completed pass to 84, Wallace Corker, who makes
back shoulder throw, right? But if they don't open themselves up and throw their hips, now watch this. He's throwing to that thinking he's coming in and then going out, but a perfect throw, great catch.
Corker some of that size right there.
Yep.
Extra point attempt is up, and it is good. And just like that, the Hornets break out in front as Cosman Brian Nettles. It did not take long for Alabama State to get the fans up and dancing in this one as they take it on the first possession, drive all the way to Wallace Corker, and that put the Hornets out in front 7-0. So they made a quick, there's Wallace Corker on the sidelines, and what a way to get the fans excited early in the ball game.
What a way to get your team going, right? I mean, look, there's nothing better than getting a nice methodical drive. I think there was, 4 third down conversions on that drive. That means you're handling your. The other ones were 3 and 8 or 3 and 6, I believe. But again, you're making long conversions. You're moving down the field. Only had 1 penalty in that drive. That's exactly the way you want to start off a game.
Cosman Diakonu getting set to kick it off and send the ball to Bethune-Cookman for the Wildcats' first possession of the ball game. And here they come on the return. The ball picked up at about the 4-yard line is Darnell Dees, and he takes it right up to about the 25 before he is stopped. And that is where the Wildcats will go on offense, 1st and 10. Shannon Patrick will come out at quarterback. 110-pound senior who transferred over from Arkansas Pine Bluff, and he's had quite a history. A lot of these guys have had a lot of success in high school, and now it appears we may not see Shannon Patrick. It looks like number 17, Devin Black, is starting the game at quarterback for Bethune-Cookman. Black,
yeah,
he's 6'2", 100. at the Hornets right at the beginning of the ball game. So 1st and 10 for Bethune-Cookman. They're going to pass it on 1st down. It's a completed pass. It goes to the big Ari Averett, and he 6'6" and 260 pounds.
That is not going to get it done. And I know coaches talk about this all the time. Players want to try to tee off on guys and have these highlight reel tackles. Put your arms around them, tackle them right.
Second down for the Wildcats. They go to the run this time, and the defense for the Hornets is right there to shut it down. Big on Quayshawn Bird and Christian Clark. I mean, what a low. I mean, this guy came into the season, or he lost 70 pounds in the offseason, and he's down to a trim 340, and that's if you catch him before lunch.
Hey, game time, he's probably 350.
Wildcats on the attack again. They put a man in motion. Black scoops up the low snap, hands straight ahead, and once again, a nice, great hustle right there. I think it's Jimmy Robinson inside. Number 6. Yes, it is. Showed some strength right there. Robinson's only 5'7", 175.
Yeah, look at that. And, I mean, Clark stuffed the hole immediately, right? But then look at him. He just keeps moving those legs, driving. They're grabbing his jersey, everything. He gets another about 6 yards after contact, and those were rough 6 yards.
Just a great effort to turn in the first down for Bethune-Cookman. So a couple of curves. You see Jimmy Robinson also getting some action in the backfield, and they started Devin Black, number 17, at quarterback today for the Wildcats. Has a running back to his right. Black looking to throw it. Under pressure, fires over the middle, and he just overshot his intended receiver there, number 3, Teron.
Sometimes you get rattled when you get thrown a curveball, a new quarterback, right? What is his tendencies? What does he do? The first thing you need to do for a defense is just play your positions, right? Play your technique, and then you can see what happens. Then you can start making adjustments. Sometimes defenses start trying to make adjustments on something they're not quite sure of yet. Looks really good and really confident. And Devin Black looks really confident standing back in there, and the offensive line is doing a really good job giving him some time to throw the ball.
2nd and 10 for the Wildcats. Black with the fake in the backfield, fires near the outside, trying to hit the out pattern to the big tight end, Kamari Averett. It goes off of his hands, and it's an incompleted pass. Good coverage over.
At it. That's one you got to catch for your quarterback.
Number 16, Nicholas Terry, doing a good job pursuing the. See a lot of instruction coming in from the sidelines as Devin Black calls out the signals. Now 3rd and 10 for the Wildcats on offense. Black has some time. Fires down the sideline, had a man open, but the play took a little too long to develop. He was trying to hit his man, Dakari Allen Johnson, down the sideline, but by the time the ball got there, he was not open anymore.
Yeah, he looks a little off target, quite frankly, too, right? Because even though he was open, that ball sailed a good 4 or 5 yards off target, even where he was trying to get it in between those the numbers and that sidelines. There was a lot of room there, and he threw it. Conversations on that sidelines come back out. Get ready to go.
Ben Lennon, the 6'2", 205-pound junior, on for his first punt of the ball game, and he gets it away, and it is high. Fair catch is called for and not made on the play. The ball is loose, and let's see who recovered. It looked like the Wildcats are on the football. And what a big mistake for Alabama State early in this ball game. It's number 24, Darnell Dees, who comes up with the recovery.
What a huge play special teams is. And when you get a play like that, you got a guy that's trying to catch the ball, doesn't position his body right, has to come back and get it. And I can tell you right there, as he falls and he sees them get the ball, watch him, he is just dejected. He knows he gave up a big play.
That was number 87, Robert McMinn, who could not make the fair catch. He attempted the fair catch, muffed the punt. There was a scramble for it, and Darnell Dees came up with a big recovery for the Wildcats. So just like that, the Hornets play good defense. You stop them, and then now you go back on offense, and this time Shannon Patrick is in the ball game at quarterback. So he didn't start the ball game, but it didn't take him long to get him in the game with the Wildcats in great field position. They're in the red zone. Patrick turns and he hands, and it's
yeah, and if you're a Wildcat fan, you may be used to Patrick being in the number 10. We thought the curveball he was going to throw us was wearing the number 18, but I guess he didn't start the game now, so he is wearing 18. Shannon.
You about Shannon Patrick on the top. He's the transfer from Alabama Pine Bluff. Like a lot of these quarterbacks, school at Wellington High School. So he's a talented guy. He started some games for Arkansas Pine Bluff. Transfer looking to pass on second down. Completes his pass to the big tight end. And look at Kamari Averett. And Coach talking to Terry Sims this week, he could not say enough about this big fella, and he said they were going to get the football to him often.
And you can see why. Watch him. He catches the ball, right, and then he is furious at himself because after that one. But he's a big guy. 6'6", 260-pound tight end senior.
A transfer from Louisville, so they were happy to get that big guy in the lineup. He and teammate Marcus Riley both came over from Louisville to join Bethune-Cookman. So here we go. On third down, handoff to Jimmy Robinson. And boy, they took
Jamal Savage leading the way, left guard. He is kind of the unquestioned leader inside there. Watch him help clear that gap, stay on his block, and he runs right inside of him. That's exactly what you want to do. And again, no one touches him. When you get that far inside, you get blocks like that. That is absolutely get a play like that.
So the Wildcats from Bethune-Cookman taking full advantage of the turnover as Jimmy Robinson runs it in for the touchdown. And just like that, we have a tie ball game. 4 yards on the touchdown run for Robinson. And again, Jorge, you mentioned it, but it was great offensive line play. I mean, you could have driven that proverbial truck.
How good that hole was. No, really, you know, and again, games are about turnovers, miscues, right? You can't afford to give possessions away. So you have a special teams play where you have a muff, you give them the ball, they get another possession to recollect themselves, they send back out their other down there, and they get your touchdown. So you can't have it.
Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Welcome back, everyone. Butch Alcindor along with Jorge Vargas here, and we have what you would call a proverbial barn burner here already because it's 7-0 early on. Bethune-Cookman taking on Alabama State in the first SWAC conference game of the year for Alabama State. Of course, Bethune-Cookman took on Alabama A&M last week and lost in a rainstorm, a game that they almost pulled off late in the ball game. If not for a couple of missed extra points, they might have been right there with the champions of the spring. So that would have been a big, big victory had they been able to pull it off. So they're coming in today and they're trying to get their first victory of the year. Look good on that drive, putting it into the end zone after the turnover. So here come the Hornets with their second possession again. And this time, that's Ezra Gray on the return, and he does not make it back to the 20. He is tattooed down at about the 17-yard line, and that is where they will go on offense, 1st and 10.
Yeah, Michael Butler basically put him to sleep on that one. It was like a WWE move. Look at this. Sticks him to the turf.
Yeah, he lost his footing right as Micah got there. minutes and 17 seconds to go left in the first. Last time Ryan Nettles took his team on a 14-play, 65-yard drive. It took him 4 minutes and 48 seconds to do it as they put 6 on the boards, and he comes back this time, handing the football off inside, and a nice run by Ezra Gray, the veteran Ezra Gray, who's been at Alabama State for quite some time now. He's 5'9", 175 from Lynn Haven, Florida, but he can get it done on the football field.
Yeah, look how quick he made his decision and his explosion. I mean, everyone just looked a heck of a lot slower on that football field, didn't it? I mean, you can tell explosion when you see it. I mean, he got the ball. He knew exactly where he was going. He went right off that B gap between that tackle, just off that tackle.
Back selection. This time Nettles will throw it on first down. Beautiful pass downfield. He has Hickson, but he couldn't. First down for the Hornets.
Well, I really like the way Jeremiah Hickson caught that ball, right? And that's a quarterback's confidence. Watch Jeremiah Hickson go out there and reach the ball at the pinnacle, right? It's up there. He realized a little short, but he goes up back to the defender instead of waiting. And I really drives me crazy when receivers just wait for the ball to get to them. You got to go out and reach the ball and get it so you don't give the defender an opportunity to knock that ball down.
Coming into this game, he was the leading receiver with 12 catches for 100. Continue to move. He fakes the pitch as Ryan Nettles down the sideline again, and he had his man, and he dropped the football. It would have been a great catch, but he had his hands on it. It looks like it's Corker over there, number 84. Boy, that would have been a tough catch, but he had an opportunity, and that's what we're seeing out of Ryan Nettles early. He's giving his receivers a shot. Wow,
I mean, and you're right. It would have been a heck of a catch. At first, it looked easy, but you could see how he had to move real quick past the defender. And I know he's probably mad at himself he didn't get it, but that would have been a tough one to come down with. But I love the way Nettles is throwing. He makes his decision, and he's giving his receivers a chance to grab it.
2nd and 10 to go. This time he gives it to Ja'Cory Merritt. Merritt takes it through the right side, and he's going to be close to another first down for the Hornets.
And the offensive line, again, look right here. Right, they folded out, 83 kicks out, and then there it is, right back up. You got, what, 8 yards, 9 yards out of that play? Beautiful.
83, Terrence Ellis, the big tight end, with a huge block over there that kind of sealed everything in and allowed Merritt to turn the corner. And Merritt, I tell you what, he again today, and he can make things happen. You know, you look at his size and you think, okay, he's only 5'10"-ish. But, boy, I tell you, he's got some speed and he's got some toughness to him. And we have whistles on the field. And it looks like it's going to be a timeout called on the field. And so we'll have a pause in the action here. And, you know, we saw Ezra Gray come in there for a little bit. And I mentioned he's the running back. It's like he's been around here for 100 years because he's been here a lot. We're going to take a break and we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we know how to pick them, right? Guys who can make it happen. And certainly Ryan Nettles, I know one of our thoughts before the game was settle Nettles, right? Let him settle down into this game. How about taking your team for a drive in the first drive for a touchdown? And that will always get it done.
And we've seen Christian Clark make his presence felt up front on the defensive line. And Ezra Gray is always going to come up and make a big play. So we pick up the Hornets on the attack again. And now the official blows his whistle. And we're ready to get back on another drive. Corey Merritt, and Merritt dives to the 20-yard line, picking up a first down for Alabama State. So good running inside. We mentioned him and his backmate. We were talking about Ezra Gray before we went to the break as you take a look at Ja'Cory Merritt.
Yeah, this guy weighs about 189 pounds. And, I mean, just look how strong he runs. I mean, this is the 2nd, 3rd time already we've seen him knock people back at 189 pounds.
One of the things Coach Donald Hill-Ely said was he wanted to establish the run in this ball game. He wanted to be physical. He thought they were a physical game, and his team would have to out-muscle them, and that's what's happening so far. Nettles, onside. Nettles to Jeremiah Hickson, number 1, open for the touchdown.
Just great execution by Alabama State. And Nettles doing a nice job of looking off, going back to number 1. Watch him here. Looks to his right, comes back to his left, and he is wide open, puts it right there for him in between those two defenders for the easy touchdown. Looks easy. Of course, everything looks easy once you're in the he had a lot of room there. It's one of those things when you get too much.
Pass to Jeremiah.
Right first, you got defenders that slide over, and then you find that little seam, and you got to give.
Well, it was right in the seam. It was a beautiful. I did not have time to come back in the inside and help out, and that ball was perfect. And you see Coach Donald Hill. Look at our keys to the game. And, these guys have we'll see if these keys are working out here. The keys to the game brought to you by USAA and the keys for Alabama State. Well, we can say number 1. 2 thumbs up on that one. Settle Nettles early in the ballgame. He's been really calm.
Kind of gave that one away a little bit. And we're talking 50 Shades of Gray. In other words, Gray's got to step up and make something happen. But I'll tell you, Ja'Cory Merritt's kind of playing the role of Gray at this point, being so explosive with the ball.
Gray hasn't had his opportunity yet, but that's coming. And then the last one, let Clark be Superman Clark Kent. We're talking about the big Christian Clark there inside on the defensive line.
Yeah, and for a guy 6 foot, 343 pounds, he moves so quick, and he's got a big-time motor. We saw it last year when we watched him play, and so far this time, he looks like he's making something happen on defense and clogging up that middle.
So the kick from Diakonu is short, comes down at around the 13. Right about the 27-yard line, and that is where Bethune-Cookman, the Wildcats, will go back on offense. And the big question right now is who's going to come back in at quarterback. We've seen Devin Black open the game, and then we saw Shannon Patrick on the touchdown after the turnover, and here it is.
Around to see who's going to play quarterback. We like it.
You kind of keep everybody in the ballgame like that. What you're going to do after the game or what's happening with this or that. You kind of have to keep your focus, and Shannon Patrick did a good job on his first possession. Here he is with 3:30 to go in the first, a little razzle-dazzle. They come back on the in around to Marcus Riley. Riley trying to turn the corner. Great move, and he does. Steps out of bounds as he crosses the 40-yard line.
Yeah, Patrick actually laid a pretty good block. He was kind of going too wide for a little bit. He needed to turn that thing up so his back had cut off, but he wound up engaging, and back made a nice cut there to get that extra few yards there.
Terry Sims would love to see his team go on another drive.
We'll say this. Sometimes, you see those reverses.
It goes to Quayshawn Bird, number 4. Start.
Playing tough in the middle and the defensive line.
Gaddy, the transfer from Maryland, coming in, has a twin brother on the ball club also. Breon Gaddy. So I guess that can get confusing at times.
It's got to be cool playing with your brother, though, right? I mean, you get your own internal brotherly battle, and then you can pull for each other on the same team. That's good stuff.
Second down coming up for the Wildcats. Shannon Patrick on the fake. Back in the pocket. Throws it underneath. Completes the pass. It goes to the big tight end, Teron Mallert. And he has it, and he will be very close to that first down. So they're doing a good job of getting the football to their tight ends, who are the biggest targets on the
pretty good one there that they got away with, because they were going to get some serious.
That was a first down for the Wildcats, so Shannon Patrick and company. Coming out for a first down with the ball resting right near the midfield stripe. He puts Allen Johnson in motion. Patrick fakes the handoff, has pressure on him. It's Gaddy knocking the football away. It is still loose. It is picked up by another Hornet. And what a big play by the defense by Alabama State. Joshua Long, also the big fellow who made the recovery for that defense, but the big play, number 99, Brandon Gaddy chasing Patrick and knocking the ball away.
Look at that swim move on 72. He put him to sleep right there, knocks the ball right out of the quarterback's hands. Play for the Hornets there.
Joshua Long coming in there right behind Gaddy and scooping up that football. We do have whistles on the field, but that's just outstanding effort by the Hornets defense.
Yeah, Gaddy with that swim move over Masliano, number 72. Just really, I think he was mad because he got held the last play. Like I said, they got away with one, and he said, well, you're not getting away with this one because I'm coming through.
Well, it was just the quickness and the speed to get around the corner, and now it's Alabama State trying to take advantage of a big turnover. Nettles under pressure, dancing around in the backfield. Now he's running with the football, and there is a flag down. It's thrown in the backfield, which could mean
on offensive linemen. It's probably a hold. But the problem with that is when you have a quarterback behind you and you wind up kind of extending a little grab here. Watch, your quarterback, you know, is right behind there, right? Now see, there's the hold right there on the end on number 11, Adupu Diop. Diop gets a little bit of that jersey there, trying to protect his quarterback, trying to do the right thing.
That last scoring drive for the Hornets was 7 plays, 82 yards, and 2 minutes and 43 seconds. And here they are with the football again with 55 seconds to go here in the first quarter. The ball resting at the 36-yard line. 1st and 20 after the penalty, and the pass is blocked. Good job getting the hands up there. Tony Bowman. The Wildcats.
Yeah, great read, because I tell you what, he doesn't knock this ball down. They're going about 15, 20 yards. Look at that. It was a perfectly read screen. And again, Nettles sold it. He sold it to the left, right? A little bit of a pump. He saved Bethune quite a bit of yards right there. Bethune-Cookman. So.
Tony Bowman, 6'3", 250 pounds. He's a senior, and he's making a senior-type play there to bring up a 2nd and long for the Hornets. They go back to the screen on the opposite side, and he has some room to go. It's Wallace Corker slipping one tackle. He takes it down inside, close to the goal line. He's going to ball. What a play. The catch for the Hornets, and he got close to the end zone, and the ball was apparently punched out.
Wow, I thought he made it in there before that ball got punched. He will not be denied. He keeps going, churning his feet.
Half-yard line there.
Yeah. A video-wise where you can really see that ball still in his hands as he crosses that line.
Omar Hill Robinson, number 20, was the Wildcat who scooped up the football. The ball is out there, and we couldn't see his shoulder at that point, but we saw the ball clearly come out. Yeah, it's just a question of whether or not his shoulder had already hit the ground.
Well, all he has to do is cross the line. From that angle, right, there's no way to tell where that line is. I mean, because at the end of the day, if he crosses that line, he could drop it all he wants right after it.
But there wasn't one official on the field who signaled touchdown. So we'll have to see what they're talking about here as they talk it over. And Coach Hill Ely not liking the turnover very much at all. His team was on the roll, and they had an opportunity to increase their lead.
What a great effort, though, and what a great execution. That was a wide receiver. He had linemen coming down the field, picking off defenders. Looks like they're going to go review it.
Which is a good call.
Yeah.
At this point in the game, they're going to go and take a review. Let's take a look at it and make sure we get it right before we make this kind of call, because this is a pivotal point in the game.
Correct.
Or could be.
And I think that the tough part here is you just may not have enough cameras, right, to give you the view you're looking for down that line, right? I mean, you only have, you don't have 20 cameras in the building here, right, shooting this. So it's going to be tough to confirm. And you're right, not one official put their hands up as touchdown. Now, I will say this, the defender picking up that ball running out probably should have just took a knee and helped his team out getting it out further.
So far, Nettles and his receivers, though, they're just playing pitch and catch out there. And this was an outstanding throw and a great run by Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, it's a shame. He just amazing effort.
Yeah,
you can't really see that ball come out.
No, you can't see because that ball was coming out. When it came out, his feet were off the ground.
Yeah.
So it was where did he actually make it to the line? From our angle, it's impossible to tell.
Yeah, and that's probably, it looks like that's the best angle actually to give a reference to where that line was, and that's just not enough to overturn anything. So I think it looks like Bethune-Cookman will get that ball. What about the 7 or 8 yard line? Is that where they wound up?
Well, that would be quite a turn of events if it stands the way it is, and Bethune-Cookman has the ball. As you see, Terry Sims, the head coach of Bethune-Cookman, coming out there. I thought it was kind of interesting. We talked to him asked him who his favorite singer was, just kind of messing around, and he threw out a good one, Patti LaBelle.
Oh, Patti LaBelle.
He said he could throw on Patti LaBelle anytime, and he's fine. He's set.
Oh, yeah. I've seen her in concert a couple times, actually. Yeah, she starts off her concerts, right? She's got all dressed up. She's got her nails on and shoes on, and she tells the audience, take your pictures now because it's coming off. And after the second song, she kicks off her shoes, and she's ready to go.
Wow.
I think he pointed the wrong way, did he not?
Well,
or are they saying he was down at the 1?
He said he could be, let's see, I think it's ruled that he might have been down on the 1 yard line.
Well, that's kind of interesting because, like you mentioned a second ago, it looked like he was in the air.
So it is down on the 1. So that's what we're afraid of. It looked like it was possible from our angle that he could have been down as he was trying to roll toward the end zone. And then we saw the football come out, and Bethune-Cookman made the recovery. But what a big break there for Alabama State.
Yeah, I think they're saying his helmet, when his helmet went down, he was down.
Okay, so the clock will continue to roll because they go back into play. 24 seconds to go in the first quarter. He turns, hands to Merritt. Merritt tries to power his way into the end zone, and it's not going to happen. A great stop there by the Wildcats on defense.
I'm just impressed with Merritt. Again, this guy is not that big. Watch how strong he runs in. He doesn't get it in, but look, he takes a defensive lineman on head on and holds his situations, right? They bring in the meat, both sides, right? So you got some big boys in there battling.
Well, that will do it. That'll wrap up the first quarter there with Alabama State knocking on the door. That after a big play from Ryan Nettles to Keyshawn Johnson. Taking it right there. We're going to pause for a timeout and be back with more in just a minute.
Dynasty, the best of Bear, exclusively at the Home Depot.
Welcome back to ASU Stadium, everyone, where the Alabama State Hornets are out in front 14-7, but they are knocking on the door as we get set to start the second quarter. Game so far. Lots
exciting.
of big plays, turnovers, I mean, everything.
Some really good football going on right now. Execution's really high, and teams are doing the best with turnovers, right? They're making something happen with them, and that's what you want to do.
Second and goal coming up for the Hornets. And has played extremely well. This time he hands to Merritt again, and he's in for the touchdown. Ja'Cory Merritt. Good push from that offensive line, and Merritt takes it in for the touchdown.
Some separation happened there, and Merritt, again, you got this small guy, and he's the guy you want running in the goal line area. That is just impressive to me. And you know, some guys just have that nose for the end zone, and he sure does.
Mason Hall had a hand on him, had an arm on him, but to talk about his strength, as you just pointed out, you can't tackle him with one arm. He's a little too strong. Diakonu on for the It's flexing their muscles inside.
You know, watch how he turns. He gets hit, and then he just kind of turns his body but keeps driving his legs. And usually a guy like that, a back like that, you'd say, okay, well, look, he's got these huge thighs, and he keeps churning them. He may be just, 5'8" or whatever, but he's got these huge. He doesn't. He's a very proportioned guy. Nothing big about him, but his will, right? Get it done. And I like him. He's explosive.
Well, he's playing well when you move ahead of a guy like Ezra Gray, who's been here and played for so well for so long. Gray was the leading rusher. Corey Merritt, though, for his opportunity. He started last week against Auburn and started again today, and he's making the most of those opportunities.
Yeah, sometimes these things happen too. Like Gray may be nicked up. They're not going to tell us all about what's going on, right? So he may have a little nick, and they're just trying to bide his time, let him play some without overworking him. And then when you got a guy that's jumping in there and making stuff done, Merritt has earned his merit badge, right? Just getting there, making some runs, right?
This one is chased down deep into the end zone, and Dees will bring it out. He's across the 15, maybe to the 17, and that's about it. So the Hornets got downfield in a hurry to cover that kickoff, and what a big stop. They should be excited about that one.
Robert Rivers, look at him. He's a running back, and he's like, I get the tackle. I'm going to munch on this guy, and he sure did.
Special teams.
Yeah. You make your mark wherever you can, right? I mean, coaches say that all the time, right? When you get on whatever you are, wherever you're asked to do it to your best ability, right? It's kind of like a life lesson, if anything else, right?
It works. Whatever you're doing, you're right, it works. Shannon Patrick back on the field at quarterback, the 6'2", 210-pound transfer from Arkansas. Gaddy up close and personal in the backfield, and that caused the turnover, and that led to another score by Alabama State. So here come the Wildcats again, starting deep in their own territory. First down for Patrick. He has some pressure on him, and he fires a perfect strike, and it is caught by Kamari Averett, the big tight end we've talked so much about early in this ball game, and he just showed you why right there.
Yeah, and also your quarterback just showed you what Coach talked about, calm, cool, maturity, right? He just gave up a ball, and then he turns around, throws a deep ball, and gets it done.
And he completes another pass to Averett near the sideline, and he's pushed out of bounds just shy of the 50-yard line.
Averett's heated up. Look at him, man. He's hot. He's yelling at the sideline. He's like, you don't want none of this.
Well, he's one of those guys that we may see on Sundays here in a little bit. And, you never know. He's a transfer from Louisville. He's got the body type to be an NFL tight end. So that will bring up a second and short. Turns and hands it to Jimmy Robinson. Are right there to shut that
job. A lot of people think when they talk about defensive line, all they think is defensive line just stalemate and stymie a line, right? Well, even when you shoot sometimes, you shoot a gap and you move forward. Don't do that there. That line stayed exactly the same as soon as that play, and the running back had absolutely nowhere to go.
DeMarcus Cunningham also assisting on the tackle. Several black shirts were right there on the spot. 3rd and 3 now. This time Patrick passes over the middle, and he has the other big tight end, Teron Mallard. That'll be the first down for the Wildcats. So he has two really big targets, and so far in this game, he's taken advantage of it.
Yeah, Mallard and Everett are twins. They're both 6'6", one's 250, one's 260. Simple 1, 2, 3 drop step. Your tight end comes on the
I think it was Mallard again making the catch, and that big fellow is wrestled down near the sideline.
Hard mismatch for linebackers to be able to cover, right? Because you got a huge body that in their mind, I think I got this guy, I can cover him. And then they realize, well, I can't catch up to this guy. Or they get psyched out. And then trying to stay on that tight end.
That half step is all you need. Sims there with his team on the sidelines. They discuss a little strategy. We're going to pause for a break now. We'll take a timeout and be back.
I just thought you should know.
The Wildcats are on a drive again. We're here Bethune-Cookman taking on Alabama State, and both teams have moved the football so well offensively. I mean, literally, this is one of those true games. If you go to the fridge, you might miss a touchdown.
Yeah, execution has been great. I've been really impressed with the offensive coordinator. Some really good signs of execution. And again, particularly Shannon Patrick on this drive. You know, the last drive he got hit. Like you said, he got introduced to Gaddy in an not so good way. Fumbled the ball, and then he answers coming back, driving his team down the field here. Big 3rd and 2, though.
Key 3rd down coming up for Shannon Patrick and the offense. Fires wide open near the sideline there, and it's just flat out dropped. The pass is just dropped, and he knows it. It would have been a 1st down for the Wildcats, and I'll be interested to see what they do on 4th down. He might take whether or not Terry Sims will take a good, hard look at this one, because his team has had a good drive going, and so far Shannon Patrick is remaining on the field. You know, that. And now Patrick is waiting to get the play, and
I don't know. I think I'd be punting it. You're too far deep in your own end.
You are, but I think they see the tempo of this game, the way Alabama State is moving the ball, and he feels like he has to have it. Fella, Averett, who else? 1st down for the Wildcats.
That's why you make the call. You make the big bucks, Butch. I'm a little skittish. I would have wanted to pin him back, but I tell you what, when you execute like this, I love it. Just goes up and gets it, big body, and you know he wanted to try to keep on his feet and turn that thing up in the end zone.
I just think for another gain of 5. I just think Coach Sims saw the pace of the ball game. And he felt like it's 21-7. If we don't get something here, you know, we may lose our spot here, and this thing could start getting out of hand.
No, I understand. I understand 100%. You try to you play the game, not, you know, what's going on right now. Five.
It helps when you have a Kamari Averett in your lineup. But there was interference call in the end zone.
Yeah, I think you saw the very last minute there. You saw a hand go in and kind of, I think that was Jeffrey Scott, if I'm not mistaken, for Alabama State. And watch right there at the end, he kind of grabs his hand and holds it down, and therefore he wasn't able to grab. Referee threw that flag there. It'll be
well, that's quite a size disadvantage for Scott. Scott coming in at 5'10". So it up.
Wow, I thought I saw some hand combat there, but I actually like the no call. I think you got to give him a little bit of room.
3rd down coming up for the Wildcats now. Minus that first series, Shannon Patrick has gone all the way at quarterback. 3rd down, fires over near the sidelines, and it goes right off the fingertips of Darryl Powell. He had a chance to bring it in for the 1st down, but he could not do it. So that will bring up a 4th down for Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, Patrick not able to plant that foot and come back to the ball hard enough to be able to make that catch. Again, execution was a little off, but I love the play call. The receivers are finding ways to create space.
So we see Powell retreat to the sideline. So the Wildcats will go for the field goal. Dylan Mognahan on to kick it. 28-yard field goal attempt. And it is true. So the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats are able to add 3 more on the board, making it a 21-10 ball game. And that's why they went for it on 4th down, because they wanted to get some points on this drive.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, that's why they went for it. They wanted to get something out of it. They didn't get what they want. They wanted a 7, but they did get 3. So
what we got was a good ball game
yes,
here.
We do.
21-10 in Alabama.
Like never before. This is the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Second quarter action here at ASU Stadium in Montgomery, Alabama, where we have the score. Alabama State comes into this game with a 1-1 record, while Bethune-Cookman is 0-. Conference play, so this is a big game as you watch Ezra Gray go back to return the kickoff here after the field goal by Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, you know the Wildcats, I mean, coming into the SWAC now, it's their first year in it. They would love nothing more now to get their record in and show that they're ready.
Because so far here in the first, and flags all over the field. I mean, a lot of laundry down there as he gets it almost to the 20. He stopped just shy of the 20-yard. Talk about that young man a little while ago. What an outstanding young man. 5-time all-SWAC. And has a 4.0 in the classroom.
He runs to match his GPA.
Yes.
Right?
He's just been an outstanding player here for years and years and years. And Coach was telling boy, they have that young man around. And what he does to help some of the other players improve themselves and just play better. And as you see him go to the sideline there, it looked like he was limping a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I say maybe he's got some lingering thing and they don't want to run him out too much on the running back, but they went in and put him on special teams, and maybe that re-aggravated something. Who knows?
So that was a block in the back against Alabama State, so that pushed the Hornets back off the Corey Merritt. Looks like it was Joshua Long there making a big play. Excuse me.
Mason Hall, I believe.
Mason Hall, yes.
Kind of looked like a daggum billboard. Watch him here. Boom, he got big, large. He just stood him straight up.
Tony Bowman. That catch and taking it in for a touchdown.
Oh, yeah. But good job. A lot of plays here where you're seeing defensive linemen, offensive. Well-coached football teams today.
And he was just a little too strong with that pass.
Yeah, he's certainly not going to like himself when they look at that, because he was open, just could not connect. And really one of the few miscues. Settling down, everything's been really, really accurate. That's the first miscue pass he's had in quite a while.
That one just slipped away, got out of his hands, so that will bring on a 56-pounder, but he's and it will be returned to Johnson is down near the 40-yard line.
sets up his team. Aggressive, they went for that big fourth down play, right? So they're showing you they're going to attack. Are they going to have been open? They just missed it. By mistake, they've got to come out and they've got to make a statement.
Let's check out some impact players now from Bethune-Cookman. As you can see, the impact players there, brought to you by Cricket, Shannon Patrick, Ontario. So far, but he was a big impact player last week against Alabama A&M. Shannon Patrick. It is. Seven, Daryl Powell. That'll be a first down for the Wildcats.
We were just talking about impact players. Patrick showing what kind of impact he can make, putting that ball up in there. And great catch, battling for the ball with the defender. That's exactly what you want your receivers doing.
Yeah, he put it in
great straight.
The handoff to Jimmy Robinson, and Robinson is hit hard. A big stick by that Hornets defense. But Robinson picked up a couple of yards in there as we come close to the 9.
Off that side there, pow, and he got low, drive his feet. That's a picture perfect tackle there. Got his arms underneath, grabbed those thighs actually, and just kind of drove him down. Kind of set up and then moved right before they were getting ready to snap the ball. But yeah, I was with you. I thought they were getting ready to try something tricky, but you don't want to do that deep in your own.
Well, it just usually you come out, you get your punting team down, you fill the gaps, and you kick the ball. But it looked like they were trying to set something up. So Lennon now from back to receive is number 87, Robert McMinn. Turn the corner. So McMinn will give Alabama State really nice field position.
Your punt returner, you want them, kind of the rule is you want them to make one miss. There, and they are going to create some holes and some seams for you to be able to run the ball and get a good return. And that's exactly what he did. He made that first tackler miss, and then he had a pretty decent return out of there. A little bit away
from the first half, and he was outstanding. And here he is with yard line. He puts Hickson in motion to the left, throws it back to Hickson. He's over there. Oh, and he slipped down. He had some room to maneuver out there, and he had a block. And Hickson knew he had some room to deal with.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, young kids, when you're looking at this, the reason why he fell, he cut off that inside foot, right? You got to cut off that, plant your outside foot so you got some mobility to be able to stand there. He cut on that inside foot. That turf made him
on the play, so that brings up a 2nd and 11 for the Hornets. Turn, and the give is to Ezra Gray, and Ezra Gray finds a little.
And again, that's about 5 to 6 yards, right? That is really successful when your running game is going to.
And 10 to go for Ryan Nettles and the offense. He fakes it to Gray, and what a catch as he passes over the middle to number 81, Keyshawn Johnson, and he makes a huge catch in traffic.
Yeah, the freshman from Birmingham. Watch it on the money and catching it as he's getting hit. concentration, because he got hit as soon as that ball hit his hands.
Amari Hill-Robinson again on the coverage, but a nice grab by Keyshawn Johnson. Nettle steps up in the pocket this time, and he's going to be Hampton coming in there to drag him down from behind. Number 95 also helping out Reggie Pearson on the play.
Yeah, Devontae Hampton was up to that line of scrimmage.
Ball that may have stopped him from getting into the end zone.
Yeah, he tackled himself, bobbling the ball there, because he just had to make that turn. And he just couldn't put the ball away. You can see he's frustrated with himself. And again, it messes up their third down conversions, because they have been money on third down.
Hill Robinson was there to touch him down, but really it was the bobble that made the difference in the ball game there. So they get set to go on fourth down, and it's Ezra Gray straight ahead, and we don't have enough sign from the official yet, and it's a touchdown. Ezra Gray on fourth down carries it straight ahead, and he scores behind that big offensive line.
Wow. Coach just has going for the kill early, right? That's one of those times in the game you're like, you know what, I'm not going to let them think they're in this game. He didn't waste any time going forward on fourth down. There was no decision, no waiting. Line them up, let's go.
Boy, there were a lot of bodies there inside, and from that angle, it was impossible to see whether or not he got in, but there was a surge up front, and number 20 went right in behind it, and it's all a moot point now because the official says it's 6 points on the board. The extra point is good, and just like that, the Hornets do a great job on a long drive, take it all the way down with Ezra Gray taking it in for the payoff.
Is doing like never before. This is the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
And go, Butch.
We are still in the third quarter, but as you can see, the post-game party is already started here in the stands with the Alabama State fans, and you know what? They have a lot to celebrate at this point. And don't even try it, Jorge. Just stop.
Oh, come on now, look at them.
No, just they're doing great. You need to stop.
Yeah, well, I can't hang with that. But look at them. They got it going on.
And so does their offense. Ezra Gray coming off a 2-yard touchdown right there to extend the lead to 35-17. Hornets out in front. And a really good start for them. And they're looking for their first win in SWAC play. And they're also looking for their second win of the year after beating Wiley College the first week of the season in overtime.
Yeah, but how about this one? It matters when you're in conference now, right? So you go out here and you execute and you play extremely well. Right now, 339 yards of offense for the Hornets, 247 of that in the air. And again, receiving yards, this is 12.4 yards a catch. That means these aren't just dropping off. And when they do drop it off, these guys are doing something with the ball.
A lot of folks were speculating on the impact that Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M would have coming into the SWAC this year. And you know what? Alabama State is making a statement game tonight here. And a big return coming up here. It's Jimmy Robinson on the return, number 6, but we do have a flag down. And once again, the Wildcats were coming out with good yardage after that return, but this may be going backwards.
Yeah, special teams play on the returns have been nice. So holding on the receiving team there.
Tony Ross is telling us they will have to go backwards here in the receiving year. That good return will be for naught as Shannon Patrick comes back on the field to get the offense started for the Wildcats. And, at times he's been impressive here, and at other times he's just missed on his passing. He's been just a little short, but he's doing a good job of avoiding the big turnovers and keeping the ball to where only his receiver can make the play. So Patrick on 1st and 10. He will put it up. Blitz on the way, and down goes Patrick. A big blitz by that defense, number 35, Jeffrey Scott, came off the end there with a lot of speed and a lot of quickness, and he made the sack in the backfield on Shannon Patrick.
Look at him come off, and he simply that running back, that is not going to get it. You're not going to be able to. Quishon Bird with the block there just went down low, and he was like not having it, went right over the top of him and got the sack.
That's a byproduct of extending that lead. You put your ears back and you just go. And we may see a lot more blitzing coming from the Hornets down the stretch, unless Bethune-Cookman can go out and make a big play. So 2nd down and 18 now. The give to Quishon Bird, and not a lot going on that play. It was Scott again helping out on the tackle.
Yeah, the Hornets know they're one-dimensional now, right? I mean, if they're going to do something, they're going to have to get – if they're going to really get burned, they're going to have to hit the air. And so you're right. They're going to start doing a lot more schemes, taking corners off the side, bringing in safeties, walking them in, and then just sending them after that first surge. And again, Patrick is going to have to make something happen. You're right. He's been solid, but he needs to do something great. He needs to make something happen for his team.
It's 3rd and 15 now for the Wildcats. Shannon Patrick under pressure. He got hit as he released it, and the ball is intercepted by the defense. Ershad Davis, the sophomore from Florida, is there to make the INT. He's 5'9", 160 pounds, and he was in the right place at the right time.
Hit him right in the zero.
But credit that defensive line with the pressure.
Yeah. Well, he actually, right there at that very end, that made him kind of short arm that ball, and that's exactly what happened. Because you can tell it's short arm. He had to kind of gauge it up high, and that ball just didn't make it there.
Ershad Davis, Coach told us he's one of the better tacklers on the team. They count on this guy for an awful lot. And there he was at the right place at the right time. He got the belt and the chain.
Wow.
I mean, I tell you what, that's a big play in the game when you get the belt and the chain. This time the handoff goes to Ja'Cory Merritt, and he goes straight ahead for a couple of yards.
Yeah, Mason Hall for the Wildcats. He's played a really tough game, and right there, you show you find out who players are when things get tough. Who kind of, our coaches say, open up a can of quit. Who does it? And I can tell you, Mr. Mason Hall is not opening up a can of quit.
So Nettles looking to pass, comes back the opposite way, and another fine defensive play by Takevin Thomas right there to break that up, or that could have been a big play. We might want to mention that last touchdown drive by the Hornets was 15 plays and 65 yards, but more importantly, they burned off 6:29 off the clock, and here they are with the football again.
And what allows that to happen when you're 9 of 12 for 3rd down in the game, right? You're able to have drives that start burning off clock. It's been very even till the start of this 3rd quarter, and now time of possession and yardage is starting to really go with the Hornets now.
3rd and 11 coming up this time for Nettles. Has a man wide open. He goes up and can't get it, and it's intercepted by the Wildcats. And here they come on the return. It's Omar Hill Robinson on the return. And what a big play by Robinson, Hill Robinson, to give the ball right back to the Wildcats.
Yeah,
so just like that, when it looked like they were going to stretch it, Hill Robinson comes up with a huge play.
Yeah, and I mean, Nettles, he did sail that ball a little bit high, but your receiver touches that ball with his hands, it gets ricocheted up, and you get the interception. That's a tough one to swallow.
Well, both teams exchange interceptions here in the 3rd quarter, with Alabama State out in front, 35. So we are coming off the interception by Bethune-Cookman. Omar Hill Robinson with the pick to turn the ball back over to the Wildcats. And Alabama State has played a really good game tonight despite that turnover. And it was kind of hard to tell if that was going to happen because last week they played Auburn, and you really couldn't glean a lot from that when you lose 62-0. So Coach Hill Ely said don't take a lot from that because, we had a lot of things going on. We wanted to check our depth, but we really wanted to get a big check and play in a big stadium and come home. And so his team is really showing out tonight. But the Wildcats are back on offense. Patrick throws underneath, and his pass is almost picked off. But it's a completed pass. He got it in there, but Jonathan Thomas made the catch, but just for an instant, the Hornets almost picked it off.
Yeah, Keenan Isaac's the guy that broke on that ball. Now you look at the pace of the Wildcats. They picked up the pace now.
Shannon Patrick back to throw. and it's an incompleted pass on second down. He just threw it away there. Good coverage in the secondary. Number 35, Scott, the closest guy to the football for the Hornets. And that's going to bring up a third down and just a couple of yards.
Interesting what they call here, right? And one thing Patrick doesn't give them, or even you can tell there's no fear of him running with that ball. And they don't even give him a seam to do that. So I think right there, it's been nice for him to try to pick up that 2 yards.
Third down and 2 to go. Quayshawn Bird is in the backfield for the Wildcats. Bird's out in the pattern, and the pass is underneath, and it's broken up. It's an incompleted pass. So that's going to bring up 4th and 2. So, Coach Vargas, are you going with 3:06 to go in the third quarter?
You kind of almost have to. I mean, I think you do. You have to go. And that play right there was a really good safe play. It was a double screen, right? You had two guys. You could have picked one from each side, one from the left, one from the right. Little bitty, like a short little screen pass in the flat. Because what was funny is I was watching Christian Clark. We talked about him playing like Superman. He was rushing, and he actually got in the hip pocket of the other guy going out the other side. Would have been hilarious to watch him in coverage.
So Ben Lennon comes out to punt the football back over to the Hornets. Good snap. Lennon gets his kick away. And Alabama State makes the fair catch, so they will start 1st and 10 from their 21-yard line after the fair catch. Nicely done there by Alabama State. We're 35-17. The Hornets have the ball and the lead.
It's 35-17.
35-17, the Hornets leading Bethune-Cookman. The Wildcats came into town this game in Montgomery, Alabama tonight. We have 2:58 to go in the third, and the tempo has kind of dropped off just a little bit from what we saw in the first half, for both teams, really.
Yeah, execution level just hasn't been kind of what it was, and let's see if the Hornets can keep that.
Merritt on the carry straight ahead, and once again that Wildcats defense responded in a hurry at the bottom of that pile to Caven Thomas, and all of a sudden, boy, he's come to life in the second half. He's made some big plays for the Cats.
Yeah, Judas McKenzie Jr. there also with a little help on that, a little help from your friends, right? Watch him shed the block. 92 comes falling in there. Yeah, I guess at the very end he kind of came in. But
man, that's just textbook, not linebacker play right there. You saw him shed that block and then zeroed in on the running back there. I mean, that's just, they could use that as an example next week. Just draw that up, put that thing on the big board.
Yeah, you call it trust your read, right? A lot of linebackers think that they're going to do something and they kind of hesitate. He saw it, trusted it, went full speed.
Merritt again on the carry, this time around the right side, and he picks up about 5.
A lot of time that's also referred to, they always want players to play fast, right? You got coaches always saying, I want them to play fast. And sometimes you have players thinking way too much, so they play slower. And people ask me, well, what do you mean by that? No, it's reading your read, making your decision, and go. If you keep thinking about it, you're not really exploding. You don't trust your read. You don't trust your instinct. And you got to play instinctively to be a really good football player. In any sport, for that matter.
3rd and 6 coming up for Nettles and the offense. They send Hickson to the left side. Nettles is looking that way, fires underneath, completes his pass. It's at 82, Tevin Sharp on the catch, and I think where they're going to put it down, he might be short of the sticks.
Yeah, I think he's about a yard short, and again, that's, there were 9 of 13 in third downs prior to that one, so that's going to go. And again, they're being a little bit safer, right? They've got a good lead. They're being a little bit safer with the ball, not attacking like they were a minute ago, and you can tell the Wildcats are playing tighter on the front end.
Ontario Johnson, one of the Wildcats making the stop, and now the officials are having a discussion with Donald Hill-Ely. And they're looking over at the sticks and the clock, and they're trying to work something out here to see exactly where we are. I mean, Donald Hill-Ely, and as you see, the officials are stopping the clock here. Alabama State takes the timeout, their first of the half. And I can't tell you, I worked in Baltimore for a few years, and I can't tell you how many people called me this week from Baltimore and said, hey, I hear you're doing Coach Hill Ely's game. What a nice guy he is. What a great guy. Apparently he was on the staff of the Baltimore Stallions. He was a coach at Morgan State up there. So
the Baltimore Stallions are interesting, right? Because they were
Canadian
an American
football.
league American team playing in the Canadian Football League. I forgot all about that.
Only lasted 2 years, though.
Well, yeah. Good things come to an end, right?
Well, I would say he has his team well prepared for this. I mean, he and offensive coordinator Joe Blackwell have actually done an outstanding job today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can tell they came in with a game plan, a good one, and then executed it, right? And again, that's what it's about. And right there on that timeout, he wanted to get every second out of there before he punted it.
4th and 1. And that would bring in Aubrey Grace into the ball game. Good snap. Grace gets his kick away. It's a high kick. It is caught, but it will not be returned. A dangerous job catching that kick right there. He took a dangerous shot at it, and it would not be returned. But the Wildcats will take over possession of the football.
Kamar Martin with that hit there. And I'll tell you, I still say that's the one place where they can really protect players much better. I think you got to have somebody's got to be able to take a step before you can unload on them. They worry about defensive receivers, but they let you tee off on a punt returner.
That was Dakari Allen Johnson on the fair. Well, he didn't make the fair catch, returning the punt right there before he is taken down. So Shannon Patrick and the offense will go back to work.
Now, see, I think that tight end work he was doing right in that middle, that's where he's got to come. Don't worry about the long one. Just, you can't look at the scoreboard here. You just got to say, let's get some successful drives going. Let's just play.
Patrick will start 1st and 10 from his own 30-yard line. As the Wildcats prepare to go on offense, he fakes it inside and then comes back to the outside with a nice completion to Jonathan Thomas, who makes the catch, and then he spins upfield for a gain, and then he gets into a little shouting match there on defense, and you don't want to do that at this point in the ball game. That is Natron Culpepper, who he was exchanging words with in the secondary for the Hornets.
Yeah, you want to try to get this extra playoff.
So 2nd and short coming up. And the ball is handed off to Keyshawn Bird, and he's thrown back in the backfield. Ershad Davis and a group of his friends were there to make the stop.
A little help from your friends, right? Yeah, Keyshawn Bird was going nowhere. But they did get that playoff before that quarter.
And boy, you could see head coach right there, Terry Sims, trying to fire his team up. He wants them to get fired up as we come to the end of the 3rd quarter.
You. Pre-order now, or else. Rated M for mature.
Play it on the all-new Xbox.
(35-17) Alabama State out in front as we get set to start the 4th quarter, and the offensive has definitely slowed down here in the second half. Both offenses, as we get set to go in here and see if the Wildcats can get something going here. You know, they've done a good job defensively here in the second half. Now they need to get the offense in gear. So Shannon Patrick at quarterback. He's going to throw it on 1st down. Down the sidelines. Beautiful pass right on target, but it goes off the fingertips. He was trying to hit Darryl Powell, and Powell was still down, but he could not make the catch on the play, and apparently he got injured on the play.
Yeah, I think he was injured. He was extending, reaching out for that ball, and the way he landed kind of buckled his arms. But you know, Patrick did an amazing job of putting that ball right on the money. The only place where he could catch it, he just couldn't pull it down. Look at that. Right in the breadbasket, just couldn't do it. And see how he hyperextended, it looks like that right elbow when he landed.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think his right elbow or the shoulder there, because he came down hard. And there you see Terry Sims obviously trying to make a point with the officials about something that he did not like going on that play.
Yeah. Although he's on his left shoulder, it looks like. He certainly came down hard. Yeah, he certainly came down hard.
You know, we can only hope that young man's okay as he goes to the sidelines, as trying to get something going offensively for the Wildcats. So that will bring up 2nd down and 10 yards to go for Shannon Patrick. That was actually one of the few times in this ball game where Patrick tried to press the defense deep and make something happen.
Absolutely right. He's been coming underneath a lot and far to the side.
2nd and long to go for the Wildcats, and look out, Shannon Patrick. The big hit on the play. The ball is picked up, and Scott runs it in for the touchdown. Number 6, Rodney Eccles made the big hit, and then a flag went down, and it looked like they may call him for an illegal hit, but the ball was scooped up by Scott, Jeffrey Scott, and taken in for the touchdown. But we're going to have to see what the officials say, because Rodney Eccles made the big hit, and then the flag came down.
Yeah, they're going to call targeting on this one. Yep, head-to-head. If they called the other one, they've got to call this one.
Well, Eccles came in there untouched.
Yeah, he unloaded on him, and it was face mask to face mask. Yeah, this one shouldn't take a whole long to review on this one. It's clear as day when he's coming through. He's actually accelerating, and I don't know that his helmet went down. You know, to me, if your face mask's up and your face mask, again, it's just maybe not by the rule. But I think if your face mask's up, it shouldn't be a targeting issue.
Let's take another look here and see exactly what happened. Wow.
Yeah.
That's almost helmet to helmet there. And
yeah, he hits with the crown. Not the crown, but yeah, that's certainly a targeting.
Well, you can't launch, and he was launching on that play. I mean,
right.
It was a clean shot, and I think that's what Coach Hill Ely is explaining to him there. You had him dead to rights there, and he said, good job, great hustle and everything. Let's just,
honestly, that's where you just got to change, and your target needs to be the sternum, right? You need to go at people's chest, right? And again, he was coming in high. And again, that's when you're looking at targeting, that's probably going to be one of the films they show at the beginning of next year of what targeting is. So, and again, I don't think that was so much ill will, right? But you need to adjust your target as in being more of the chest. You need to lower your target.
Well, it's not the way the game is played.
No,
if
right.
you hit high like that, and you could see Patrick's helmet go flying back. I mean, it didn't come off, but you saw the head bounce back. And once you see the head is thrust backwards like that, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have targeting called.
Right. And, you mentioned a moment ago, though, the offenses have kind of slowed down. And there's 2 reasons for that, right? Both offenses have been more predictable, right? On the Alabama State side, they're trying to be more conservative, trying to do smaller plays, right? And let's look at this one more time.
Number 6 has been disqualified from the game. This is a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah.
Automatic first down.
So they're just saying he's disqualified from the game, automatic first down. So they confirmed it just then.
So Rodney Eccles, number 6, is no longer playing in this football game after that penalty for targeting. He's out, and that will be a first down for the Wildcats. And it's kind of interesting because we saw Devin Black start the game at quarterback, and then we have not seen him since. So I'm not sure what the strategy was on that play, but he came in, ran 1 series, and then it's been Shannon Patrick going all the way since. And Patrick has taken a couple of big hits in this ball game. So obviously he's a very tough young man himself, the transfer from Arkansas Pine Bluff. This time he has it a 1st and 10 after the penalty. Has some time in the pocket, throws it way down there, has a man, and it's a good defensive play. He broke it up. Looks like it's number 4 on the play, Jaquez Payton, doing a good job there because that ball was coming right in there. And Payton did a great job breaking it up.
Yeah, the timing was absolutely fantastic there. Got a small little tug on that jersey.
Trying to get it to Marcus Riley, who had gotten downfield. The ball might have been a tad underthrown, and it was a good defensive play as Payton came back on the football, as did Riley. So that will bring up 2nd and 10 for the Wildcats as they try to get something going here in the 4th quarter. 14:40 to go in the ball game. This time it's Bird around the left side, and Bird's going to pick up 6 yards before he's forced out of bounds. So that may be his longest run of the night.
I think so. And again, it's going to put them in a 3rd and 4. You know they're going for 2 now, right? So you got 2 downs to get 4 yards, right? So I think that's how they got to look at it. Just keep progressing, make the plays, try to make something happen.
This is a huge down because as the clock continues to tick, we're into 4-down territory now anyway for the Wildcats.
They do need to pick up the pace, though. I mean, they seem to be methodical here, and if you have any intention of making things up, you gotta get the snaps off quicker and move.
The clock continues to tick down. Under 14 minutes to go. 3rd down and 4 for Shannon Patrick in the offense. Fakes it to Bird under pressure. Patrick escapes, still on his feet, but there were too many black jerseys to dodge them all. He just couldn't do it. And finally, number 46, Jake Howard, is there to take him down. But what a job Patrick did staying alive. But like I said, too many of the other guys back there.
Yeah, he did a great job, but he looked like a pinball, a ball in a pinball machine. And of course, I'm speaking old school. I guess these young guys listen like, what's a pinball machine? But basically, that was him getting bounced around all over until he finally could not dodge enough players.
Howard, who's also been playing some good football this year, definitely for the Hornets. Of course, he's replacing Colton Adams. He's kind of moved into that Colton Adams spot, who was the great linebacker for Alabama State who injured his shoulder and is out for the season. So the Wildcats will punt the football away, and the Hornets will return it. The Hornets have some room down the sideline. Boy, I tell you what, he had one guy to beat, Robert McMahon, on the return. He picked up some great blocks, and talk about flipping the field after that punt. That great return by Robert McMahon.
That was exceptional. And again, honestly, my first thing was get away from the ball, let it go in the end zone. Right, he knew what he was doing.
He caught the football inside his 5-yard line.
Yeah, and then he went backwards, which always gives my stomach a problem. But man, he just turned it up down that side. And you're right, one player away from making something happen. It was the kicker, the punter. And like I said, you said earlier, those rugby guys don't mind getting down there.
Ben Lennon probably saved the touchdown there. The transfer from Utah, the Australian punter, who has been pretty much the last man on the field that had a chance to stop him. So that will bring the offense back on the field for the Hornets. And they go to Ja'Cory Merritt. Straight ahead, and he picks up 5. He just works his way through that. And we've been crediting the offensive line for Alabama State, and we cannot say enough about the job they have done in this ball game, both protecting Nettles and opening some holes from Merritt and Gray.
Yeah, no, they've been exceptional. I mean, Trevon Taylor is the guy who's their superstar left tackle who gets things done, but they've been able to run on both sides of the ball. A lot of times you have one really great offensive lineman and a team will just keep running behind their superstar, right? But it's been both sides of the ball they've been running and just having success all over.
And what's interesting about that is they've had injuries in the line. So all of these guys have had to play out of position at any given time, and they seem to just pick up the position, whatever they're in at, whether it's guard, tackle, or center, and get the job done. So this is Nettles with another pass. It's complete to Tevin Sharp, and he turns it into another first down for the Hornets.
Yeah, and I think maybe, the Hornets have decided, look, we're obviously going to play a little bit more conservative. We have to tack enough to keep the ball in our hands to close this game out. And again, right on the money, perfect strike. You kind of wish he'd have stayed in bounds, but again, the clock would have stopped at the remark anyway. So
big first down for Alabama State as they continue to work on the clock and try to get this guy. They have a big lead, 35-17 here in the fourth quarter. So Alabama State trying to close in on their second win of the season. Fakes it to Merritt. Nettles is caught and taken down in the backfield. Fine play by the defense.
To Kevin Thomas there.
He has had a sensational second half.
I was going to say, you had to call his name several times, but look at him. Comes off, looks like a stunt right off the edge. He came right off looks like the end who went inside. He just came right off their tail.
So Nettles will have to leave the game because his helmet came off. So he had to go out for at least one play. So that will bring on Miles Crawley. And Miles actually does get in the game from time to time because he'll come in and play the Wildcat position. And so now he comes in and he'll be straight quarterback on this one with Nettles having to leave because his helmet came off.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he runs right here.
So 2nd and 15 after the sack, but he throws it, and here comes Ja'Cory Merritt with a little crease, and he could not get through it. But Merritt saw the little hole. He tried to get through it, and he could not as the backup quarterback comes in and actually completes the pass.
Yeah, now watch Travon Taylor, number 73, your left tackle right here. Merritt was waiting for him to cut up the field. He was trying to patiently wait, and that's where Taylor just needed to go ahead and unload the trailer and go straight up the field.
Yeah, you know, he did a really good job waiting for his blocking to emerge, and it never did happen, and you can see him saying, oh, shucks, almost.
Yeah.
And it was right there. So now it's a big 3rd down, and you see Nettles is back on the field at quarterback, and he will pass on 3rd down. Nettles throws underneath, and it's almost picked off. That was a dangerous pass. Making a break on the football was Omar Hill Robinson, and we've seen that young man do that a lot tonight. I mean, he's been all around the ball and has a couple of interceptions.
Yeah, he's played a really, really solid game. And again, he read that, and really, Nettles should have just run it. He had a good 12 yards probably. He had just tucked that ball and run it up.
Well, Nettles was late on that one. Keyshawn Johnson, he was open, but by the time Nettles got around to throwing the football, he wasn't open. So that will set up a field goal attempt now. Cosmin Diakonu is on to attempt it for the Hornets. Good snap, good hole. And Diakonu, who has a huge leg, drills it in. I mean, Coach told us, you know, he wouldn't be, you know, shy to put him out there and let him attempt a 50-plus yard kick.
That's having some confidence in
yeah,
the guys.
He's got some power in that leg, and so does his team. They're out in front, 38.
Go, Butch.
We have 9:27 to go here in the ball game tonight with Alabama State out in front, 38-17 over Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman was trying to get their first win in the ball game tonight. You know, but when you talk about these guys and you talk about the HBCU history and all the great players that play at these schools, I mean, you look at it. Let's start with Bethune-Cookman because they're about to get the ball back, so we'll go with them. But you got alumni like the great Larry Little, who played for so many years with the Miami Dolphins, and how about John Chaney, who was the head coach at Temple forever, the late John Chaney. What a job he did.
Absolute icon, right? And then Little, you know, I was a huge Miami Dolphins fan back, you know, when they didn't lose a game, and you had Larry Zonka and Mercury Morris and Brian Greasy, and Larry Little was one of those guys that led that charge. I mean, he was a certain leader in that offensive line.
He was a leader, and he was an outstanding player. And then you talk about the other side. You talk about Alabama State. You got guys like Isaiah Crowell, and how about the Houston Texans tackle Titus Howard, who's making his mark in the NFL right now as Dees on the return breaks it to the outside, and he has some room before he's pushed out of bounds. Darnell Dees, he's an excellent return man. We've seen examples of that tonight. He's done a good job almost every time he's touched the football.
Dees does a good job, but the special teams coaching, I mean, you look, they're giving him, they're doing a great job on special teams of creating something. I mean, and Dees has a nice feel of where he needs to go. You mentioned Howard a minute ago. He got drafted to play right tackle, and he's moved down and playing guard. So he's shown his versatility as an offensive lineman in the NFL.
Yeah, and he was the top draft pick for the Texans. So that just shows you right there the type of quality athlete that's playing in this league and doing very well. Titus Howard, I mean, they showed a lot of confidence in him, and it's paying off. He's doing a great job. So here we go with Bethune-Cookman on the drive, and Patrick starts it with a completed pass, but only for about 3 yards.
Yeah, speaking of one of those guys that may have that kind of talent, Christian Clark, number 94. I mean, I think he's a guy that, because his size and his motor, the fact that he just moves around a lot, he's a guy that could do something.
Well, he does such a good job. First of all, you can't block him one-on-one. So it's going to be one, two, maybe 3 guys blocking him inside, and that makes a whale of a difference. So Patrick on 2nd and 7, going deep down the field, has a man wide open. That was Marcus Riley, and he overshot him. I mean, that was a chance for a quick 6. Take that to the house and see if you can't squeeze back into this game. But he was just a little too long with the pass.
Yeah, I know the Hornets are sitting there looking at that going, how do you let a guy get that open at this point of the game where we are? How is that even possible? And he sure did. You had a safety word about the inside guy. He was, there was nothing but 6 right there.
Marcus Riley was in the express lane, and everybody else was over in the far right lane as he was just zooming down there all by himself. But that will set up a 3rd down now for the Wildcats after the incompleted pass. And now we have a timeout on the field, as you'll see Shannon Patrick jog over to the sideline to get some instructions from his coaches.
You know, people always ask me why at this point of the game do they even bother. We'll talk about that when we get back on the other side of the break.
38-17, the Hornets out front. We'll be back in a minute.
Go, Butch.
Let's take a look at our SWAC schedule, the upcoming schedule here on ESPN, the family of networks there. We're going to be on ESPN Plus tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern Time for Southern and Mississippi Valley.
We'll be right there.
Yes,
I'm loving
that's
it.
you and I right there. And then as we move on, September 30th, Arkansas Pine Bluff at Prairie View. That's going to be an excellent game on ESPNU. How about Saturday, Alabama A&M versus Grambling, and then you go down some, October 2nd, another big game, Alabama State versus Florida A&M. Then we have Grambling versus Alcorn, and how about Jackson State? Dion's team's going to take on Alabama A&M. That's going to be a big, big game. Can't wait to see that one and see how that one works out. So here we go, Shannon Patrick passing in a beautiful pass right over the defender's outstretched arms, and he goes to the big tight end, and it takes the whole team to bring him down, and we have a flag down. That's Kamari Averett. And, you know, they had a lot of success with that in the first half. That's the first time we're seeing it in the second half.
Yeah, I don't know how you didn't find a way to get him the ball. But again, you know, Patrick puts that ball up there, and again, you can trust him to go up there and get it, put it just past the defender, and then look at this guy just drive his feet. And we talked about talent a minute ago, the talent that's at the SWAC level, and man, that was sweet.
And there was a flag down for a face mask call, so that's going to even tag on to that big game. But it's a pretty throw from Patrick right over the outstretched arms of Natron Culpepper there, and it was probably the best ball he's thrown all night.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you needed. And again, you know, we talk about drives like this late in the game. It's to build confidence, build for the next game.
Patrick's going to throw again against the blitz, and his receiver was wide open, and he dropped the football. He could not hang on, so that's going to be a big play right there, almost like that's going to slow your momentum down just a little bit, just a tad.
Yeah, you know, and what coaches are looking for in this part of the game is execution and who's stepping up, who's able to keep their focus, and that's a lack of focus, right? That's just not paying attention.
Exactly. So Patrick now looking at 2nd and 10, trying to get some points on the board here, make it a 38-24 game if they can put it in the end zone. So Patrick has 2nd down and 10 to go. Blitz again. Defense in Patrick's face. He lobs it into the end zone, and it's a touchdown. What a catch by Kamari Averett. We talked about how much this guy was a beast. What a beautiful job. You know, it's like playing basketball. You throw the alley-oop, and you let Averett go in to make the catch.
Yeah, and watch it. He split the C's right here. Right, he throws it real high. He's got 2 defenders on him, and he just jumps up through them. He's hit before the ball is able to concentrate and hangs on to that ball for the touchdown.
But he's got great hands.
Yes.
He's got all that size, but he's got the finesse of a little guy. I mean, he's got the great hands when the ball hits him. And I tell you what, that's a young man we may see playing on Sundays.
Yeah.
So the Wildcats will attempt the extra point.
Yeah, I think a key for him too
Kick
Bush.
is up and good.
A big key for him as well is that he's not, we saw him earlier blocking and getting his nose in there, right? So if you're able to catch, you go up there and you'll block as well.
And there's also a flag down on the play, so it must have been against the defense because we see the Wildcats running off the field. Excuse me, what were you saying?
Yeah, what I'm saying is when your NFL scouts are looking for not only guys with skills and talent, especially in that tight end zone, right? Are you willing to stick your nose in there and block? Are you willing to do some of the dirty work, not just catch the ball? And you've seen that earlier in this game. He's made some really good blocks as well, and really like trap blocks that they're using is they're bringing him in, and he's hitting defensive tackles, so he's not scared to go after other big guys as well. And again, we've seen his hands, and then when he gets the ball, he runs like a Mack truck. I mean, you see he does not want to go down. That's some great talent right there. Matter of fact, I got a buddy of mine that's an agent. I'm going to have to put a little star by him and say, hey, you need to check that guy out.
So it looks like we have a couple of unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, and so that will be offsetting unsportsmanlike on both teams. So that'll wipe that away. But no, he's got the physical presence to, like I said, play on the next level. We have a 38-24 game with the Hornets out in front.
That is half price, tastes twice as good, right?
Right?
SWAC Football on ESPN Plus is presented by Academy. Get the gear in here to have fun out there. Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the SWAC. By Credit Versio. Get your credit score up to where it should be. Visit creditversio.com. And by Home Depot, proud sponsor of the SWAC. Glad you could be with us tonight, everyone. Butch Alcindor and Jorge Vargas, and we have a really good one in Montgomery, Alabama, as Alabama State has a big lead, but Bethune-Cookman making a move here in the fourth quarter, and we still have some time left to go in this one.
Yeah, you saw Coach Terry Sims. We saw him a little bit during that break, run up and down the side, telling these guys, look, it's a two-possession game. We're not done yet. Don't count us out yet. Let's go. So his intensity has not waned at all.
No, Terry was fired up over there on the sidelines, trying to keep his team very fired up here. And, man, I wonder if they would try something here on this kickoff. We got plenty of time, 8:11 to go. And they do. They go for the onside kick. And the ball was loose, and now it's recovered by Hickson. So what a great job and what an alert play by Hickson to make that recovery and be aware for that onside kick.
Yeah, that was special. And, again, they actually – the Wildcats did a good job of doing that kick. The ball bounced up just right. He had a big old guy hitting on him as soon as that ball was in there, but he leaped over him, grabbed that ball. Watch this. Now look at the big guy coming right at him. Hits him right before he catches the ball. He still catches the ball.
And he held down.
Yeah. And he was getting ready to make something happen out of that if he could have kept his balance.
Well, I just had a feeling they were going to try something there. You know, like you mentioned, Terry on the sidelines, Terry Sims pumping up his team, and they almost came away with it. So here come the Hornets. They go to the option play to the left side. Nothing doing there as Ezra Gray is bounced out of bounds. He might have lost a yard on the play.
Yeah, and again, maybe Nettles just cannot flick the ball or pitch the ball because he scoops it on those. It is not much of a true option the way it's more like a pitch. It's like a quick pitch.
So second down, this is an interesting situation because Alabama State out in front, 38-24, so they're going to slow down a little bit. They don't want to be in a huge hurry like they were in the first half when they were playing with tempo and everything was bang, bang, bang. They're going to slow this down a little bit and try to work off some of the clock, but can they do that and continue to move the ball downfield? That'll be the key. Second down and 10 yards to go. He hands it to Gray, and Gray is stacked up again and pushed back. A bunch of Wildcats right there, including number 92, Judas McKenzie, with a takedown. A little bit of that WWF stuff in here.
Well, you know, I was just going to say before that play took off, watch, they're going to try to run behind Trevon Taylor. And they did just that, but it wasn't successful. Taylor needed to kind of create some movement there and really separate, and did not let the defender into his body. And therefore that gap just never really opened up. Gray had nowhere to go.
The defense has had a lot of big downs tonight, but this is a huge one. 3rd and 11 coming up for the Hornets. Nettles in the pocket, under pressure. He's forced to his left. Now he's still in the pocket, and he goes down. So when they needed it the most, Bethune-Cookman comes up with a big play. And 94, Jaden Loving getting in the backfield, putting the pressure and coming up with the sack.
Yeah, they just came on. I'm telling you, that was something special. And you're right, when they needed it most. And really, what started that off was Jarrell Knight, defensive lineman, coming off the edge, which forced Nettles up and then allowed them to make the play there. And that what they needed, a 3-and-out.
Under 6 minutes to go in the game as Aubrey Grace comes in to punt it away. You know, we mentioned it earlier. Aubrey's on the Punter of the Year watch list, so that gives you an idea of what kind of punter he is. And he's going to be under some pressure here. Let's see what they do. They go for the return. Grace gets his kick away. It's fielded inside, and here comes the Wildcats on the return. That is Allen Johnson. Dakari Allen Johnson on the return. My goodness, so now the Wildcats are going to have great field position to try to tack on some more points on the board.
So Terry Sims is saying, guys, do you believe?
That's right.
We'll find out.
Go Butch.
Let's check out the SWAC standings here. This is what it looked like entering tonight's ball game. You see Alabama A&M out in front in the East, and in the West, it's Prairie View and a whole host of people tied with one win there. And it's early. We're going to see what happens. You see Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman going to the East, so that allowed Alcorn State to go to the West. So we have a kind of a different mix in the standings this year, and it'll be really interesting to see how this works out.
Yeah, I think the competitive level in this league is really, really special. You got every team that rolls out there knows they can get a win if they just play their game and execute. Right.
Speaking of executing, that's what Shannon Patrick and the Wildcats offense are going to try to do now as they take over with a 1st and 10, trying to get some more points on the board. They trail in this game 38-24. Patrick, under pressure, still on his feet, gets the ball away to Bird. And Bird does not go far because Jeffrey Scott is right there to make the tackle. But I'm surprised we didn't get a whistle on that play.
Yeah, and you know what? I would say through this game, though, they've been slow to blow the whistle. If a guy's got a chance to do something, they don't blow the whistle. So that was consistent with the rest of this game. But I'm really shocked they didn't blow the whistle right there. But good awareness to get rid of the ball.
Shannon Patrick on 2nd down, looking to pass, fires on the slant, and it's another drop pass. I mean, that has plagued the Wildcats here in the 4th quarter when they need it the most.
I think that's the 2nd time 87 has dropped the ball right in his basket right there. And again, that's just concentration. He just can't do that. Mallard and Averett are the guys you need to get the ball to. They are the ones that have made the big plays. For the Wildcats, you've got to get them the ball, make them a chance. And again, it's 2-down territory, so go out and get attack.
You have to go to the money man in this situation. So I would expect this ball to go to number 1 in some fashion, whether he's running down the seam or some kind of way or fashion here. A man goes in motion. Patrick back to pass. Has some time. Fires. And he has a completed pass. A great shot in there to number 85. And now he dropped it. No, he did not hang on. Dakari Allen Johnson. I mean, Coach Sims is going to be pulling his hair out as to why these guys get. They played last week in a rainstorm and they caught the football. And tonight, they just cannot hang on to the ball.
Yeah, and he caught that ball, brought it down, but the way they call a catch now, he did not show control once he landed with that ball, and then it came out.
Well, you have to have
got to complete the pass.
You know, literally, we keep saying go to number 1, go to number 1. You almost have to, because he's the one guy, even when he's covered, he's not covered. And you know he'll catch the football. And now you're in a real bind because it's 4th and 9 for Shannon Patrick and Bethune-Cookman as they try to keep hope alive here. Patrick in the pocket. Has some time. Fires it high. He's going to go to that big fella, and he just didn't give him an opportunity to make the catch. He threw the ball out to the sideline. Averett was looking over his shoulder to the inside.
And you could see if that ball was on target, you'd had a catch because
it was there.
Averett puts his body on that defender. He's so big that defender gets knocked off of him, right? Just in his action, the way he goes up, he knocks. If the defender's on him, he's not on him anymore, right? It's not even a push-off either. He does it real cleverly, the way he kind of gets that defender off of him as he turns.
Well, this is a situation where you find yourself down on the scoreboard, and the Wildcats have had to make some plays here. The plays have been there to be made. They just have not been able to catch the football in the fourth quarter, and that may come back to haunt them with 4:44 to go in this ball game. Right now the ball turns over on down, so it goes back to Alabama State and Ryan Nettles. He goes to Merritt. Merritt's going to pick up about 3 yards right there off tackle. And right now, if you're Alabama State, the clock is your number one priority on this drive.
And Merritt looks like he's a little dinged up, and you don't want to see that because, man, he has played a whale of a game. We couldn't say enough about how strong he's run and what he's done, but he looks like his foot's giving him a little issue. So don't know if they're going to pull him out here and put Gray in there.
Well, there was a timeout on the field, so we will see. You see Coach Ely walking over to take a look at him and see exactly what his situation is. Trainers are now talking to him on the sideline.
Yeah, you know, we talked a lot about the offensive line, right? The execution they've had and how well they've played for the Hornets. But right now, in this part of the game, you need your offensive line to step up and now move some bodies. Right? So it's all right, let's finish it. We played a great game. Let's finish it.
2nd down and 7 after Merritt picked up 3 yards inside. Come back and they hand off again. This time it goes to Ezra Gray, and there's no room in the end for Gray. I mean, he's spun down in the backfield. So once again, the Bethune-Cookman front four, they're doing a great job of getting in the backfield here when they have to do it, when they have to shut down the running attack. They're doing it.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, you know, I know that play was designed to go out, but that offensive line didn't fire off and punch guys in the mouth. And again, you know, Trevon Taylor, he's their lead dog, the alpha dog on that offensive line. You know, I know when they look at that tape and they watch what they're doing now late in these quarters, there's a lot of horizontal blocking and not a lot of punch in the mouth. Let's move you off the line of scrimmage. And right there on that play, you know, he's stepping. He never asserts himself forward and to create some seams. You have to create a seam for your running back to be able to do something.
You know, and we talked about how outstanding that Alabama State offense was in the first half. Let's also talk a little bit about the defense, because last week they played Auburn, and that was a 62-0 game. And I remember talking to Travis Pearson, the defensive coordinator, this week, and I asked him, I'm like, you know, all that rushing yards you guys gave up, I mean, how much of that can we contribute it just because you played Auburn? He said, you can contribute all of it to the fact that we played Auburn. And we can see that tonight because they've done a great job of holding the Bethune-Cookman running attack in check tonight. So 3rd down and 8 yards to go for Ryan Nettles. He's looking to pass it. Has some time, but he throws an incompleted pass too low, was trying to get it over to Hickson. Hickson coming back to the football, but he had no chance to make that play.
Yeah, to exactly what you're talking about, looking at the stats here on run, 0.6 yards per carry.
Well, you love that out of your defense.
I mean, that is getting 12 yards rushing on 20 attempts. Now, again, I think that includes some of the sacks as well. But, man, that is getting it done.
So Aubrey Grace will be back on to kick it away.
Looks like they're going to go for a block here.
Grace has some pressure, but not enough. Gets the kick away. And it hits inside the 10, and the Hornets had a shot at it. They had a shot at downing that inside the 5, but they couldn't quite get there. Number 4 was down there trying to down the ball, but could not make the stop for ASU. That's Dante Norris, is the closest guy to the football.
I will tell you, though, it is so dangerous to stand by the ball and watch it and decide you're not going to catch it. If you're not going to catch it, get away. The ball takes some funny bounces, and you just have to, you know, we always used to say radioactive, right? Radioactive, get away, right? Just get away. You don't want to be in the neighborhood. And right there, if that ball would have taken a weird bounce, it could have been pretty ugly.
Well, if you're Terry Sims for Bethune-Cookman, all you really lost on that last possession was time.
About 2 minutes.
But time is the most important thing to you right now, because they had the ball in great position last time, and we'll see how quickly, if they can move the ball back down in the scoring position. 4:08 to go in the ball game as Bethune-Cookman takes over on first down. Patrick looking deep down the sideline, and the ball is tipped up, and it's going to be an incompleted pass. He was trying to get it to Marcus Riley, number 2, but good defense by Jacques Payton. He's done a good job on the corner tonight.
Yeah, he really, really nice job there. And again, he had good position. It was a great throw. I mean, Patrick did a great job. It was a good pass there. But look, he adjusted to the ball. And I like when guys go to the ball. Too many times you see a defender out there in good position, but they just wait on the ball. Same thing with a receiver. You have to go and attack the ball because you're giving the other side an opportunity.
Patrick again looking for Averett. Averett makes the big catch. It's just like a jump ball. And he jumped higher than Natron Culpepper there and made a beautiful catch and gets a first down for the Wildcats.
Watch how he puts the body on the defender. He doesn't have to push off. He almost just kind of runs into him a little bit right before he gets separation. And that's why right there you saw the separation.
So here's Patrick on first down, trying to throw it again under pressure, and he just throws it away. And just, one more thing about Averett on that play. I mean, he wasn't going against just anybody. He was going against an all-SWAC player. He had Natron Culpepper one-on-one, and you could see his physicality on that play. Averett bounced Culpepper off of him and made the catch. And you look at Culpepper, he's a 200-pound defensive back.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He has got some skills, and there's an art to being able to create separation, and he can do that. And he shows enough speed for as big as he is, too.
2nd and 10 now for Bethune-Cookman on offense. Patrick will throw again, looking to release quickly, throws it out to the sidelines, and that ball floated a little bit, and that was a dangerous pass as Jacques Payton was lurking in the vicinity of that one. 83, Trenton Jackson was the intended receiver.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I thought he was going to try to pick six. That one was going to go the other way.
That was a dangerous pass. So now Shannon Patrick is staring 3rd and 10 right in the face as he's trying to continue this drive with 3:28 to go in the ball game. 38-24, Alabama State out in front, but the Wildcats are threatening. Patrick fires, completes his pass, and look at the hustle. The ball is stripped and it's taken out, and Alabama State comes up with the recovery. The pass was completed to Jonathan Thomas, and as Thomas was fighting for the extra yardage, Ershad Davis, one of the defensive backs, stripped the ball away, and then the Hornets made the recovery.
There's no quitting Davis, is there?
No.
I mean, he caught the ball, but he just was he was relentless on him, and this is a tough one too, right? Good catch, and look at the effort. He is just trying to make something happen for his team, and then that ball just comes out.
Keenan Isaac made the strip, and then Ershad Davis came in for the recovery there, and it's hard to, you can't fault a receiver there because he's fighting for the extra yardage, but I think as a coach, if you get that first down, they want you to get down and maintain possession of the football.
Yeah, it's tough. When it's effort, you just go with it. Right? I mean, your players giving it all. That's all you can ask. That's just tough.
2 turnovers, so the last 2 possessions, the last possession on downs, and then this one on the fumble. So Jonathan Thomas was the first receiver to make a catch for the Wildcats in some time that wasn't named Kamari Averett. And he made a catch, and he made a good run as he's fighting for that extra yardage. Keenan Isaac, who's another one of the good guys in that backfield, another former all-SWAC performer, came in and made a good play. Stripped that ball out, and then Ershad Davis there to make the recovery. So 2nd down now for the Hornets on offense as the clock ticks down. Ryan Nettles has gone all the way at quarterback. And right now he's doing the smart thing. He's just like letting that clock tick down. He's letting it tick all the way down.
That was a big run there by Dante Norris, right? And the offensive line gave him some room, and he just exploded through. It's been a while since they've had a real explosive style run, and just watch it. When he plants that foot, and look, they create that seam, and he just hammers in.
Dante Norris is the big guy they usually bring in goal line situations, and here he is in a run down the clock situation, just trying to pound it forward. Norris, 5'10", 220 pounds, from Warrensville, Ohio.
They call him the Ham.
Well, this is what he's good at. He comes in on the goal line, and he comes in special situations like this one. And with a 3rd and 2, would not be surprised if he got to carry the mail again. And this time it is to Norris, and Norris picks up the first down, so the clock will move on as we reach the 1:35 mark to go in this ball game. And Dante Norris is getting to seal it for the Hornets.
Yeah, now there's not much the Wildcats can do about it. And again, they just brought in the hammer, and he just did exactly what he's supposed to do. Put your head down and just drive your legs, get the first down. Now they'll just run off the clock, and this game is put to bed for the Hornets.
It's been a very impressive night by Alabama State. We came in, they've done a great job. They had a great offensive plan by offensive coordinator Joe Blackwell, and they came on, and Ryan Nettles executed it flawlessly, and then Travis Pearson had that defense fired up, and they did a good job tonight also.
I thought this was a well-played game, especially in the first half. I thought, their execution and the way they attacked, the way they handled the ball, and I thought Ryan Nettles really, really showed himself to be somebody that can make something happen. He did a good job of looking off defenders, creating opportunities, and throwing the ball where it was catchable.
So Alabama State's going to improve to 2-1 on the season, while Bethune-Cookman will fall to 0-4. But there were some good things they did tonight.
Yeah, the tough part for them is it's 0-2 in conference, right? That's the stuff you just kind of can't get back when you get the conference losses like that. But Alabama State, they're going to love it because they're 1-0 in conference, and now they can start to see their goals. All teams look, I want to win my conference. We want to win our division. And now they're like, okay, we're one step closer to a goal.
Number 13, player of the game on offense for Alabama State. Ryan Nettles had an outstanding game tonight. And how about that backflip from the big fella there? That is hard to do, man. You're almost 3 bills and you're doing a backflip. Woo! How about that? You see the two coaches exchanging pleasantries at midfield after the game. What a game. What a fantastic game. So for Jorge Vargas, I'm Butch Alcindor saying so long from Montgomery, Alabama, where the final score is 38-24. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Good night, everybody.